most iconic things about the 03-04 Terminator Cobras is the blower whine and the independent rear suspension catback exhaust. If you're driving behind one of these cars, you cannot miss it. They're so identifiable. One of the things that you can do to make it look even better is hand polish it to a mirror finish. So in this video, we're gonna take the Borla Stingers off of this car. We're gonna hand polish it with a whole bunch of different sandpaper grits, and then we're gonna hit it finally with a mag and aluminum polish to show you that we can make these look better than chrome. So let's go get started. So that's what I'm talking about. On these cars, for those of y'all that have not been behind a Terminator, this is what it looks like. The catback comes out underneath the differential, makes a couple 90-degree bends, and then comes out to show you the entire exhaust system underneath. Well, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hand polish all that. So we gotta get the car up in the air. All right, so this job is really cheap on supplies and very expensive on time. It's gonna be hours and hours of the same tedious, monotonous, repetitive motion, running the sandpaper over this catback, but the end result's so worth it. So this is what I'm gonna start with. This is just gonna do the sanding, not the polishing at the end. I bought this whole kit of sandpapers, varying grits. We've got a 240 grit. I don't think I'm gonna actually have to use that one because this Borla Stinger catback is basically brand new, never seen rain. I don't even know if it's gotten wet from a car wash. 400 grit, I've got a 600, an 800, a 1000, a 2000, 2500, and 3000. Other than that, I've got some microfiber towels, latex gloves, and a bucket of soapy water to keep the sandpaper wet. All right, so here we go. Back in the garage, new day, same clothes, new coffee, kind of new plan. What I'm gonna do now is as we go through the different grits of sandpaper from 400 all the way up to 3000 and then ultimately hitting it with the buffing pad and the mag aluminum polish, what I've got is the driver's side catback just out here on a table. And what I'm gonna do, instead of just polishing everything, doing time lapse, all that, and then showing you this mirror polished catback on the back of the car, I'm gonna show you what each different grit is gonna do along the way. So, gonna do the 400, put it next to that catback, compare the pipes, and then do the same thing all the way up. So now we can go ahead and get started. So two things with this. When it comes to sanding, first off, you want to do it with the grain. And the other part, the reason for this soapy water is that it's just going to help the sandpaper slide across as you're doing these motions over and over. All right, so here it is after 400 grit. You can see it's just pretty much just starting to clean up a little bit. This is the unpolished, unsanded, and this is after 400. So the 600 grit is done. You can still notice it, but it's not that much of a difference. Again, it's just starting to look a little bit more cleaned up. You do lose that brown bronzish tint that the exhaust comes with normally, whether that's from heat or, you know, just its natural discoloration. But it is starting to look a lot more smooth and just cleaner. So now we're moving over to the 800 grit. So here we go after 800 grit. This is definitely starting to have some reflective properties. You can kind of see yourself in it. It's not super clear. It is cloudy, but moving to the 1000, I think that's where we're really going to start seeing this pop. So comparatively, big difference, but not even halfway there yet. So. So now the 1000 grit's done. This is where you can really start to see it. It is like a dull mirror now. Comparatively, I mean, there's just no reflection at all on the stock piece. But then now, after going through the 400, the 600, the 800, and the 1000, I mean, you can see the reflection there. So now we're going to move it up to 1500, and this should really start to pop. Now we are done with the 1500 grit. You can really start to see the reflection here. So comparison wise, this is where you're really going to start to make a difference. And now I think the next one we have is going to be 2000. so the 2000 grit is done, and the difference between that and the 1500 is pretty significant. It's really looking awesome. So now we're moving up to 2500. All right, so 2500 grit is done, and this is looking amazing. You can see just how much of a mirror finish this is already looking like. And that's just getting wiped down with a microfiber towel that's really pretty dirty. This is the one that's from Borla, and this is after 2500 grit. So from here, we still have 3000 grit, and then hitting it with the actual aluminum mag polish, but transformation is just unreal. All right, so just finished up with a 3000 grit, and you can just see it is absolutely unreal mirror finish. We still have to go through and do the metal polish, but comparing these two, this is so worth the time and effort that you're going to put into this. Wow, awesome. All right, so I've got one of those like mother's polishing balls. I'm going to do that first, and then afterwards I'm going to get out my buffer, and then that's when I'm going to use the wool pad. So just really going to put as much time into this as I possibly can and get the result looking perfect. But as it sits now, this is unreal. I love it. All right, so this is gonna be the last step for polishing these. I've got the mother's mag and aluminum polish. I've got a fresh microfiber towel, and then just a regular cordless drill that's got this mother's buffing ball. So let's see how this step goes. So buffing ball in the first round of mag polish. Just absolutely unreal. These Borla Stingers, they just, the way that they polish out with some time into them changes the entire look of the car. I cannot wait to finish these up, put them in the back of that thing. But damn, all the way up to 3,000. Incredible. All right, y'all, so about 6 hours later, I got both sides done. There's one step left. I did tell you guys I was gonna go ahead and use my buffer with the wool pad, so that's what's last. I'm gonna get this done, but even without it, I mean, y'all can see this is just straight mirror finish. Unreal look. I can't wait to put it back on the car, but let's go ahead, set the camera up, hit this with the buffer, and then we are done and ready to reinstall it. All right, y'all, so got it all finished up. After buffing them, I went ahead and reinstalled the pipes. I wasn't gonna bore you with that part of the video, so just gonna get right to it. This is the finished product. Polished Borla Stinger catback. Started at 400 grit, worked all the way up to 3,000, then hit it with the mag aluminum polish. Finished it off with the wool pad on the buffing wheel, but I mean, this just looks absolutely incredible. Like I said, other than the blower one on these cars, this polished catback exhaust is one of the most iconic, noticeable parts of the car, and now it looks exactly how it should. So if this is something y'all are considering doing, down in the description I've got links to the sandpaper kit that I used. It's super cheap, but it'll give you all the different ones. And whenever I was rattling them off, I know I didn't mention the 1500. You saw that I used it, but that's in there, and that's really all you need. So I'll have that and the mag aluminum polish down there. Otherwise, if you're gonna give this a shot, it's definitely worth the hours. I think I'm into it for about 6.5, 7 total hours, but regardless, it's done. And maintenance wise, I don't know, maybe twice a year you get up underneath there and just hit it with the mag aluminum polish and a microfiber towel. But otherwise, appreciate y'all watching.